want to dive into Lincoln Riley, the quarterback coach, and what makes him so good at it and what makes him so special at developing top talent. And for you, like you mentioned it, like one of the reasons you stay here is to be able to be a starting quarterback for Lincoln Riley.
Right.
What's it really like being coached by him? Like, take us into a meeting room. Like, what do you think is the edge that he has on everybody else?
Yeah, I really think obviously, like, as a play caller and as a game planner, he's uniquely gifted, and I'm not going to pretend to understand where he comes up with the stuff that he comes up with. But I think it really comes down to his personality and the way he works with quarterbacks. Part of that is you never really know what he's truly thinking, which can be frustrating sometimes, but it's also part of his superpower as a coach. He never gets too high and he never gets too low. And as a quarterback playing for him, it's special because you don't go out there and fear making mistakes. Yeah. Like I've seen that happen where coaches just absolutely berate kids and they feel like they can't go out there and play freely. And I think Lincoln does a great job of allowing his quarterbacks to do so. He never gets too high, he never gets too low. And he talks to them like normal human beings, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I think a lot of his kind of secret sauce, so to speak, is his ability to communicate with his quarterbacks. And obviously when it comes to the X's and O's and all that kind of stuff, like I said, like he's the best there is, or one of the best, if not the best there is. But I think it really comes down to that other stuff. Yeah,
it's interesting when you think about it because a lot of the quarterbacks he's had that have won Heisman trophies, I mean, all of them have transferred, have had some adversity at some point and kind of came out. So clearly he's good at giving players confidence, right?
Absolutely.
Is there a moment where you can think of a time where you felt like even when you were in the backup that like he specifically gave you confidence? I remember in my career, like a moment where Bill O'Brien gave me confidence as a young player. And I was like, when Bill O'Brien was like, this guy's pretty good. I'm like, oh shit, like I guess I can play.
Right.
Is there a moment that comes to mind where you think about some confidence came to you for playing for him?
Real quick, guys, I have a free $100 deposit bonus for you from Prize Picks with my code AdamB or the link in my bio. Prize Picks is the best way to fire on sports because you pick players instead of teams. It's the most fun, and if you know how players are going to perform, you can make up to 10x your money. So go get that $100 bonus with my code AdamB or link in my bio.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think there is kind of one specific one. We met after fall camp. You know how like you have your exit meetings after spring and then you meet before camp going into the season to kind of discuss your role. Obviously, like with Caleb, it wasn't necessarily a position battle. I mean, even if some people framed it that way, like we understand how these things work. But I think he told me that like, look, Caleb's obviously the starter, but I have every confidence in you. And he compared it to the situation he had with Baker and Kyler. And obviously, like, I don't want to put myself in that conversation. I think like that's obviously something that has to be earned. But for him to say that and even like utter those words and be in that conversation, like made me feel like he had a ton of confidence. I mean, I think that was kind of the moment where I felt like, okay, like Coach Riley truly has faith and belief in me. And that obviously went a long way for a player's confidence,